So yeah, anybody who's out there attending remotely, just so you know, I did start the recording. So if you are a part of the meeting, you are a part of. Sure, everybody knows that. Thanks.
All right, thanks for joining us, folks. Please join me for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Someone do roll call.
Yeah, so I'll do the roll call. I'm in the room, Toby.
Okay.
Walsh.
Here.
Here.
Paul Tyler. Here. Joe Carroll. Here. Chris Miles. Here. Ella Collins.
Here.
James Donahue. Here. Christina Durkee.
Here.
And Dan Shields is not in attendance. He's going to try to join remotely. He did reach out to me and let me know he was probably going to be late.
Toby, any community comments that have been made known to you?
No, no one reached out to me. And I don't see any in the chat.
I love the second. Okay, let's move on to recognition of successes.
Yeah, so we did recognize some students last month. We will have some more next month. It's a little bit more challenging to work this out with all the remote things going on for our students and for our adults. But we will certainly get there. But I do have one person I wanted to speak briefly about. You did receive her letter of resignation several months ago, but Kim Rivers is done. I think her last day is the 12th. So she is quickly approaching retirement.
Wow.
So we wanted to take a few moments and just congratulate her. I don't know if the board wants to share any well wishes with her. I should. No,
She's on there. Yep.
Is she on there?
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Happy retirement.
How many years? Thank you.
32, and I thank you.
Did you say 32 total years?
Yeah.
And you've been here for the past 8?
I've been in Fort Edward for 32 years. I've taught for 34 in total.
So where were the other 2?
I'm sorry.
Where were the other 2 years? I'm just curious.
I substituted for a year, and my first actual teaching position was St. Mary's in Glens Falls.
Very nice. Very nice.
Ms. Rivers, thank you so much for your service to our community and our students, of course, and being a valued member of our team, and we wish you well, of course.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And I've got to tell you, enjoy your retirement. It's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
So we will invite him back to graduation, as we do with all of our retirees. So, and she did say she plans on being there. So hopefully the world will cooperate with us, and we'll get a chance to recognize you in front of the community at graduation as well, Kim. So, wanted to take a few moments. Anything else you want to say to the board?
It's been a hard decision, and I'm certainly going to miss it a lot. And it's over half my life there. So I felt that it's been family, and I'm certainly going to miss it.
I'll miss you as well, Ms. Rivers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And if we can take a minute on this portion, the recognition of success. I've talked to a couple of board members over the last couple of days and happened to be stopped by a parent in Market 32 the other day. We just wanted to stop and say that they really appreciate what the teachers, what the administration is doing for the kids. You know, they're hearing nightmares or difficulties from other school districts, challenges they're having with hybrid, and some of them have to go to remote, and leave alone the COVID cases, just the actual day-to-day operation, and folks who are burning out, and teachers have got, you know, kids in front of them and kids on the screen. And everything I've talked to folks about, not that I know everything's going on, but every time I talk to someone, it's been overwhelmingly positive. And that has a lot to do with our faculty and our administration, our staff, the folks helping out everywhere, and our kids. I mean, they're just acclimating and adjusting, and You know, some of them are having some difficulties along the way, but they're being recognized for the most part that I've heard. And they're resilient. I mean, they're doing a great job. So I just wanted to take this second. I mean, I know we're 2 months in now, heading for the holidays, which is great, but just congratulations to everyone doing what they're doing, and thank you to everyone that's doing what they're doing day to day here. It seems to be going well, and we had no idea what this was going to look like in September, and we, of course, in this room, we talked about what could possibly happen wrong and the things we have to be ready for, but so far, I don't want to jinx it, knock some wood. Seems like everyone's doing a great job, so thank you to everyone.
I coattail on that, Tom, because I talk to a lot of people in town. I see them all the time. The first thing I ask a parent is how's school going, how are the kids doing? All the comments, I've not had one negative comment.
That's right.
And I'm not talking to them, I've talked to a ton, not one negative comment. So that's congratulations, like Tom said, to everybody. He spoke to the faculty, staff, administration, everybody. Thanks, everybody.
I gotta say too, it starts at the top, man, so thank you, man. I know you work in tireless hours, along with everyone that works with you, but really keeping it together and working hard and communicating with folks, so I just want to say thank you very much for you.
I appreciate it. And I'm going to piggyback on, you're going to hear more from me in a little bit, but I do want to talk about the teachers. They are going like gangbusters, and it's not easy. And everything changes. Many things change every day. Not everything changes every day, but many things. There's a few teachers in this room right now, and there's parents and grandparents for sure. And we have not, when Sam was here, we did not have anybody who backed down from the challenge. Now that John is here, nobody's backing down from the challenge, including John. I want the same shout out for our teaching staff and for everybody who supports them as well, because it takes everybody to make this thing operate every day, but especially this year.
Sure. Thank you.
So no presentations tonight. Charlene did mention the finance committee, but I want to know next month, we're going to have a presentation from the cafeteria management folks from the Capital Region BOCES. As you know, we moved away from Aramark this year to BOCES for several reasons. So I asked them to come and present next month. So I don't know if that'll be, we'll see how the world goes. I got a feeling it's going to be virtual. They'll be coming out with that. I don't think they'll be here in the room, but we'll make it work however we have to.
Let's talk about board committees. For the most part, we're taking it one meeting at a time to see what we need and what committees need to meet. But the finance committee has been meeting more often and will meet more often, especially leading up to budget time. So Todd's going to speak a little bit about what we went over this evening.
Yeah, so we came in, was it 5:15 or so, a little earlier than we usually do. And thanks to Charlene, she went through many of our questions, and she always is there for us to answer questions, but to help us understand some of the documentation a little bit better. So we went through, and again, what we're going to probably do is in the future, we're probably going to need like 20 minutes, 30 minutes prior to most of our meetings, talk about the financial status of the district, but and really to discuss like 4 or 5 of the major reports that she went over, such as the budget status report, cash flow, budget transfers, as well as cafeteria profit and loss. But again, it's great to look at where we budgeted, and then how it's proceeding along in terms of where the money is being spent, and how we're looking at our outlook as we go on through the rest of the year. So I think every month it's important to kind of look at all that. We also so we'll plan on meeting that. Everyone's always invited to all those meetings. I was alternate here tonight, but you're welcome to attend. We'll give you a report each month on that as well. But we then got into the extracurricular activity fund a little bit. That's been brought up a few different times at some of the previous meetings. And again, that's student funds, student decisions on where that money is spent, how it's raised, all that. And it's a good lesson for our students to actually engage in that process of how the money is raised and what should happen with that. So it's good to see some of those actual clubs up and running right now. Maybe raising some funds and maybe spending some of those funds. But other than that, anybody else want to add anything to that?
Just one thing, just to put this out there, that with the activity funds, it is important to stress that it's student money and not district money. So any of the money that's in those extra classroom activity fund accounts is kid funds. So the district cannot access them.
It's an important thing to know, absolutely. Yeah, and we decided that the finance committee is gonna meet, at least 15 to 20 minutes before every board meeting, so we get more and more familiar with these documents. We're gonna review 3 or 4 of the top documents that we want to have clarity on. If you have any questions, Sean will review them with us, and then we'll make recommendations to the board accordingly to accept those reports. But as you guys know, during the motions, if you're not at the finance committee meeting and you want to ask questions about any of the financial reports, during the motion, that discussion period, you can ask any questions.
And in future meetings, I think we're gonna come up with a budget calendar and start bringing all that out, so it won't be too long before we start talking about next year's budget. Very soon.
We've been here almost 2 months. We probably better get started.
Once you get started now, you're right. Okay, thank you, Todd. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so,
I'm just gonna jump, so policy committee, we haven't had one, but I did send out a doodle to the policy committee members. What day is it? Today's Monday, so it would have been last week. You should have received it, only if you're on the committee, so I just need committee members to please respond on when you can meet based on that doodle, so I can set a date. We have to go through the review of our policy manual. As you know, we subscribe to a service that helps us review that manual, and now is the time for us to approve the new version of that.
Good.
So if you get a chance, respond to doodle. Once I have the date, I'll send it out to the full board, and we'll post it for the community, but we schedule those around the convenience of the committee members.
very good. All right, moving on to the superintendent report. Take it over, Dan.
Yeah, so a lot of upcoming dates that we're pushing out on our website, and I think that John's going to talk about many of them. So I don't want to steal his thunder totally, but I'm gonna preview a couple. So Wednesday there is no school. It is Veterans Day. Friday is our annual go home early drill, emergency evacuation drill, is probably the more proper term. It's 15 minutes early. We've been pushing those out since last week on social media, on the school website. I know they're also included, I'm taking a little thunder, John, sorry, in John's letters, but I'll let him talk more about that. So merger study update, I just keep that on there every month. As everybody in the room knows, we had the consultants had the first committee meeting. That meeting is not run by either district, it's run by the consultants, although both superintendents were in attendance there. So the committee got to meet each other, meet the consultants, and go through some information on enrollments, live birth projections, and those types of data that are there. So for board members that were on the call, you probably seem a lot like review because you've been through it a few times. And I thought about that myself as I was sitting there in the presentation. But for people who are on the committee and it's the first time they're hearing about the process and the information, it's very informative. Although for some of us, it might be like, we've heard this several times. Many of those committee members were hearing it for the very first time, although some of them have been listening for a while. Maybe it was their second time or third time they heard it. So I just wanted to put that out there. The next meeting is over at Southlands Falls, and it is on November 23rd at the high school. And we'll get that information. It is already on the shared website. That's where we're trying to put stuff about the merger study on the shared website. There is a link from our homepage to the shared website. And that meeting was recorded, and the recording has been up there since, I think, the day or two after, if somebody wants to view it.
Dan, before we move on to the next thing, I would love to be there, but again, based on what was said, is, it was only the committee members, not the Board of Education, to be there present. It was really difficult, I think, at times, and I think some people already mentioned that, come up with some kind of procedure, and so that, because there's, 24 members that are out there? 26, to be able to hear, and I'd like to hear their questions. I'm hearing their answers, and I'm not really hearing the questions. I'm kind of losing out on that a little bit. I don't know how you can go about doing that.
Well, we have a PA system set up in the gym that we could have used, and we'll have to make sure that we do use that next time. But I would tell you that I was in the room, and I was sitting at the back of it, at the mid-court of the gym, so halfway back in the room, and I had difficulty hearing some people's responses. And if they had a teacher voice or a projecting voice, or if they didn't, and we'll have to work on that so we can hear better, either through a mic Or you're just asking people to speak up if possible.
Yeah, I would just remind them at the start that there's other people listening to this meeting as well.
And additionally, I think it might work if Alan or Deb restates the question before they answer it. That would be effective too. So we'll try to do it through one or all of those meetings. We want people to hear what's going on.
Yeah, for some of us in this room, we've seen that presentation a couple of times now. So it was good to see it with fresh eyes and how they kind of responded. I thought it was good. Did you get feedback? Was it a positive takeaway from the meeting? Good feedback?
So no feedback to me directly.
I don't know, it seemed pretty good to me. People were engaging at points, and I think they did a good job of presenting it. Those PowerPoints are just so exciting, you know what I mean? But, you know, at least they build points that you get, I think, for the first meeting. And if you looked at it, really the last 20 minutes was really the topic that they were there for.
Right. I was wondering if they were going to get that.
Well, that was, but they had, the previous had to be done. It was good because you could follow along. We already had the template, it was already set up before, so I just went back and followed along with what we had, and they did the same thing. But I'm curious, the answer could be it. For the people to get on and to listen to that, especially that last meeting, they weren't going to get a lot because like we had spoken about, it was very difficult to hear. We had more information because we already had, we had been through it, so we knew what kind of discussion was going to ensue. But will there be any synopsized version of the meeting, any topic highlights, either present to the board or put on that page, or for people to just give a short, rather than have a list of 2 hours of that?
Yeah, so there actually is. So the minutes, the minutes came out. I should have mentioned that when I was going through. So the minutes came out. So on that shared website right now is the recording, the minutes that the consultant provided to all the committee members and to the 2 superintendents. So we posted those, and the PowerPoint presentation that was given that night. So it's all there. And if it's not, let me know. But I checked, as they said, they were putting them up, and they were all working, and the links were.
Good, just to get that also people that are here that are listening.
Yep, absolutely. You can go and see that. You can go and see the minutes. There, it says memorandum, and it's from Alan. Is the person who wrote that. They don't come from me; they come directly from him to the committee members, and they copy the superintendents. So the superintendents don't, and their notes. Yeah.
There are 4 things, Dan. Actually, a view of the recording of the meeting agenda, meeting presentation slides, and meeting notes.
It's everything that I have, they have. And actually, they get it at the same time or even before I do. So moving down through remote and in-person learning, follow up from the survey. So we did do our survey. Our middle high school students that asked to come back, we were able to accommodate all of them coming back for the hybrid situation. They started today. And for our elementary students, all the ones that responded to the survey by the deadline, we are able to accommodate them. We're looking at them starting the 16th, which is next Monday. We are at capacity across classrooms in the elementary school. We are at capacity. So we already have folks who have registered since we did our survey or didn't meet the deadline and have now asked to come back, and maybe John is going to speak. He's going to speak to it a little bit. So we've already got a waiting list in at least 1, maybe 2 grades based on the last talk he and I had.
And you switch the other way?
We did have some grade levels where we have some students going, what I would say the wrong way.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't want to say that.
We'd like to have more contact with some of our grade levels, and that's concerning. That's one of the things that John and I spoke about, and I know that he's spoken with Mrs. Scott about as well. So I don't know if he'll touch on that or not. I'm hoping that he will briefly. Recent school closings due to COVID, we had our 1 day, and I don't know if this is wood or not, but I'll knock on it. There's a lot going on in the state of New York and across the nation. I get to watch what's happening at Syracuse University because I've got an investment out there.
Sure.
And things are going the wrong way for them out in that region. Here in our region, we're holding steady, but you're seeing some schools with multiple people being quarantined or classrooms being quarantined. So we're going to proceed cautiously as we have been. But right now, we're doing okay. But if things change, I will be in touch, and we'll just have to move along like that. For that same end, there's some concerns about the holidays. We have a lot of individuals returning home from across the state, country, and maybe the world into our communities. I'm talking about Fort Edward. We've got college kids coming back. We've got people traveling for the holidays. Not to say that they're bringing something, but they could be. So we'll have to watch and see what happens. Some school districts have had conversations about not coming back to in-person instruction for the 2 weeks after Thanksgiving. These are high schools in our area. And the same for after Christmas. I don't think that's the right choice for Fort Edward. The way things are going right now, I think we have people come back, and if something occurs, we will deal with it as it occurs. Or if something occurs between now and when Thanksgiving happens, or shortly thereafter, we'll deal with that. But I can't see excluding all of our students to remote learning for the 2 weeks after Thanksgiving right now, in case something happens, although I don't want to be reactive. That's a lot to put those 250 elementary students out on remote every day. It's a lot.
Then they'd only be back for 2 weeks before they went back out for Christmas break.
Right.
So it doesn't make.
Well, plus there hasn't been any issue, so obviously something's being done right here. So if something's being done right, stay on the path.
So we'll see what happens. I am, survey knows, I'm very cognizant that there are a lot of people coming back to our communities that could make things change for us.
I have a question.
Sure.
It's not necessarily related to holidays, but how are we handling snow days this year? Is this gonna be something where we go full remote, or are we gonna say, you know what, guys, you're getting a snow day?
So we still have our snow days allotted as usual.
Mhm.
And as you know, our snow days are not dictated, but they have to mesh with the employee contracts that we have here. So there's only a certain number of work days that certain employees can have. And right now, our school calendar adopted by the board back last April and then amended in August to give us those 4 consecutive days a year, includes us having snow days for staff and students. So right now, our plan for snow days is as usual. If it's snowing really bad and things aren't safe, we will have a snow day. We won't have everybody get your laptop out and go.
No, that's good.
I like that.
Makes for an easier call too,
I
Dan.
just wanted to make sure.
And if you follow me on Twitter,
You don't have to have it on.
I've seen that Mr. Durrell put that out about Greenville, and I wrote, same plan for Fort Edward. Snow day is a snow day, and there's a lot of different opinions, but, so here's one. That's a part of the school experience for young people.
Yeah.
I stand by that.
And for
Absolutely.
older people, I should say.
Yeah.
The adults, that's a better way to say it, sorry. So that's what I have, for you folks this evening.
Okay. Treasurer's report, Todd reported out on our committee meeting. Does anyone here have any questions for Charlene on the line? Charlene want to say anything?
Charlene's good, she's shaking her head no.
Well, she was there the whole time, kind of committee meeting, so we understand. Okay, next up, K-12 principal report. Welcome, John. How are you?
I am well. Happy to be here. So as October's coming to an end, a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, and we're getting into November here, but a big thank you to our PTO and our elementary teachers for what they planned at the end of October. I can't take any credit for what they did. That was amazing stuff. On October 22nd, we had the pumpkin patch. Every elementary student received a pumpkin. We ended up getting out about 180 pumpkins were distributed. And plus we had the post-star come in and get some pictures of our smiling young students as they had their pumpkins, which was always a good thing to read about in the paper, something positive going on. And then on Halloween Eve, we had our PJ day, but it was more than pajamas, popcorn, and Halloween movies. You know, our students had the opportunity to complete some STEM activities. They had the opportunity to still celebrate that Halloween, but some of the activities they were doing were pumpkin catapults and building bone towers. So it was great to see we're still learning, but we're having fun as we're doing it. And these events are all shared on our website and through social media. I'm going to continue to do that as we move forward and really showcase what we're doing here at Fort Edward. As we start the second quarter, especially in the middle school and high school, we're really looking to improve on our 93% participation rate. And that's K-12. We're 93% in the elementary. We're 93% in the secondary level. And closer to 94%, but we would like to continue to improve on that and improve our attendance and get our kids participating on a higher level. So that's really our goal as we move forward. And a big thank you to our teachers for managing the multiple informational systems and working with our students to best assess and understand the current education achievement for their first quarter. The first quarter report card is going to be mailed out by the end of the week. That's our goal. We'll have those out and hopefully in families' hands by the weekend here. Our high school seniors and our sophomores on November 12th and November 13th during lunch, they're going to get their class ring and cap and gown, graduation supplies. All of that will be ordered during lunch. So this information has gone out to our seniors, but I just always like to bring it up again. At Dan Stole My Thunder, Veterans Day, there will be no school. Okay, no one on site and no virtual classes. And then November 13th, we have that go home early drill. And we're looking at 2:15 for our pickup and dismissal. And we're definitely going to be sending out some more updates and reminders to families as we get closer. The next thing I wanted to share was something called Choose Love. So our middle school and high school physical education classes are going to be coordinating with our guidance counselor, Joanna Scotch, for Choose Love. Now, Choose Love is a social emotional research-based digital curriculum program for children and adults to understand and manage their emotions. It helps people make good decisions and work towards positive goals while caring for and nurturing relationships around them. The elementary counselors have also been coordinating to deliver this material for later this month. Anyone who wants some more information on the Choose Love movement, it's really easy to find. It's chooselovemovement.org. And then you'd type in the @school, because that will give you the school program that we're going to be using. Fort Edward Picture Day is coming up, and that's going to be November 16th for K-5 elementary students. And our grades 6 through 12, that will be the A-Day students. And then Tuesday, November 24th will be those makeups for our K-5 students that were absent, as well as grades 6 through 12 B-Day students and our remote learners. And last but definitely not least, the elementary parent-teacher conferences are fast approaching. And we're looking for November 20th, November 23rd, and November 24th. Our students from grades K to 6 are going to be dismissed at noon on these days, and with our conferences starting around 12:30. There was letters sent to them about all of this over the last couple of weeks, and then obviously we put it on our website. We're going to continue to send out reminders. It's posted in the Google Classroom for families as well. And then we're going to be asking our teachers and obviously myself and others to call home and make sure we give our parents an opportunity to come in and conference through a virtual environment, be able to conference with their teachers. So, and that's all I had.
Thank you, Mr. Guarno, and thanks for all you're doing. I'm becoming a big fan of your videos, so those videos you're putting out there. Thank you a lot for that.
Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Guarno?
I'm good. I'm going to thank Mr. Guarno. I keep sending your videos out to the board, just so you know, so if you keep sending them to me, they're going to keep getting them. So it's good.
We appreciate it.
Just one quick point of clarification. The report cards are for the 6 through 12 at the elementary school. Those parents are not going to see a report card until we get to that second trimester. Mr. Guarno and I met with the elementary staff and talked about the priorities for the first trimester for the parent-teacher conferences. Social emotional well-being of children. Number one priority, that's going to be talked about at parent-teacher conferences. That's got to be number one. We did, how are students adjusting to the technology? How are the adults adjusting to the technology was number two. And number three was already data. So there is a data portion there. We're kind of in that order. And we're asking our staff members to really put number one as number one. And if any individuals, any parents have a concern about that, they can absolutely blame it on me. The thing that we want to talk to parents about right now is how is your kid doing? I know we're always trying to be data-based, but there's a lot going on in the world. Coming back from this pandemic and bringing kids back to school and the world that we live in right now. So that's priority one. So if you hear folks saying, I didn't get a report card from my third grader. That is going to be absolutely true. I'm happy to have that conversation with anybody who wants to have that with me.
Sounds like a great plan, it really does. Thanks, Mr. Gordon. Next up, buildings and grounds reports. Greg, you out there?
I know there's a written report in here.
Yeah,
Yeah, Greg, he was
There is
on.
one left.
I am here.
Oh,
How are you guys? How's everybody doing?
What we're doing.
Thanks for the job you guys are doing. Your team, Craig, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you for the compliments. So as of last week, we had I had Needham Risk Management, our new safety committee team from both, besides BOCES. It was on site, and we removed all the outdated chemicals and unused chemicals from the science labs, and they're in storage right now to be dispersed of and disposed of. Also, last week, I had them come in and do the water samples for the lead test, which were delayed, and we could have gone till June. So I figured might as well get it done now than later. And I'll wait for the results as far as that comes back. Also, I've interviewed 4 substitute cleaners, and all have cleared their background checks, which with the approval of the board would give me an abundance of substitute cleaners and alleviate the use and not have to worry about coverage and use the people that I have on staff, and also save on overtime. And the last one there, disregard the Bus 30. I was contacted by Leonard Bus, and it will be going into DePaula Chevrolet November 19th, and they're working on getting us a replacement for the time that the bus is in for repair. So that's already in the works. Other than that, everything's going smooth. Knock on wood, we're good. But yeah, we'll keep going.
Thank you, Craig. Any questions?
You're welcome. Anybody have any questions?
No, thank you, Greg.
No, thanks, Greg.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Right. All right, discussion items. It's back over to you. Ben.
Yep, so I put audit completion on there. As you folks know, you received all the finalized documents. They do say draft because they're not final until you approve them, but they're on the agenda to be approved tonight. I also gave you Charles Smith's email address. If you had any specific questions, you were free to email him without having to go through me. They work directly for you, but they work with Charlene and I and everybody else in the business office and in the district they need information from. So I just wanted to put that out there if any of you had any discussion points for each other. I did not ask Martin and company to be at the finance committee meeting, nor to come to this tonight because they presented last time. That's the requirement that they present. I think that Charles did a good job putting the summary of the changes right on the front for everybody to take a look at. So that being said, whatever you folks have to say for discussion, if it's nothing, then that's okay too.
I appreciate what he did because it made things easier when you go through it. So
Yeah.
they did a nice job.
All right.
Darlene, are you good?
Was that me?
Yeah, so do you have anything to add about the finalization, of the audit?
What was the question?
Just, did you have anything that you wanted the board to know about the audit process now that it's finalized, or are you good?
Nope, just want to get it done.
We want to get it approved this evening so we can get it posted on the portal. So that it is not in jeopardy. I keep getting the emails every day, Charlene, and we haven't submitted it, so. And then, letter B, the FETA contractual concession acknowledgement. So I have to apologize. I'll apologize publicly. Based on the agreement that we have with the Teachers Association last year, I was supposed to recognize them at the board. The board was supposed to recognize them at the September meeting. That was a part of that. And with everything that was going on, it slipped my mind. So I do want to make sure I do that tonight. As you know, we've got some pretty significant fiscal challenges. And even to get into this year, it took those concessions from the Teachers Association, so I want to make sure that we recognize that duly. We also, but
I just want to say thank you again for FETA talking with us and getting us through this budget season. Thank you again very much.
Likewise, with the support staff, there was a similar condition and also concessions given by that group as well. And again, totally understanding the financial constraints that the district was in, coming to the table and working with us. So I do want to recognize them. And again, I apologize to the support staff for not doing that at the September meeting as I should have. Totally me. Just missed it, so I appreciate people's patience. And again, I apologize for not doing that in September.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on. Consent agenda. I need a motion for items A, B, C, and D in consent agenda. Ella, Joe, any discussion?
Yeah, I got just 2 points on the board meetings. Again, that August 27th meeting.
Yeah.
I don't know if Toby's updated that or not, but on that personnel 7B, first got the resolution hereby abolishes the following position, which isn't in there. The position should be 1.0 FTE teacher aide.
It was updated. I did update that.
Over there. It just wasn't on. Thanks, Toby.
Yeah.
One other one is from the October 13th meeting. Again, personnel 8. I think is motion is C. Okay.
What one was it, James?
I'm on personnel 8.
Okay.
We got a motion by Jim Schools to approve the following resolution with no second. If there's no second, we can't have no second. We can't have any action. That can't happen. So there's a second there, but we got to put it down.
Okay. What letter under personnel?
C.
C. Okay. Okay.
And on your person, C. Yeah. There's a motion, no second. So
Okay.
the action, so I can't do that.
You were talking about the 22nd.
Number 13.
The 22nd October meeting, that was the one that was held down in Boise, but it didn't not the 5-word meeting was held.
It didn't have the right address on there. We can amend that one. I think, and then just move the other. The 13th.
At 13, that was, the motion was made. We just,
With the second stop list is what you're saying on the version that you had. So that one I would say you want to table.
Yep.
You don't table the 13th.
We got to table it.
You think for the 22nd, you're okay by saying as amended, by stating that it was held at the Valley Road BOCES Center.
That's to table the October 13th for the correct second on the motion and to adjust the location on the all in favor?
Aye.
Good.
So that was a motion to table, motion to motion to approve.
It was accepted with conditions, we're fine.
Except for okay. That
Um,
was everybody. Except for
that
me.
was Ellen and Joe.
Thank you.
Okay, action items. Need a motion on A and B.
Motion.
Christina,
Second.
Anita. Any discussion on A and B? All in favor?
Aye.
All good. Need a motion to approve the independent audit report for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2020 as presented by Marvin and Company at the October 22nd, 2020 special board Education meeting with the final version included in the November board packets. And the motion. Ella? Todd? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thanks again to them for putting that together and presenting. The motion to approve the contract between Fort Edward and South Glens Falls for educational services for the 2020-2021 school year. That was included in the board packets.
Motion.
Anita? Bill? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
You good? Chris, you good?
You're saying.
I'm staying, I think.
No, I'm
Okay.
800. Got it.
Need a motion to approve the Fort Edward district level emergency response plan for 2020-2021 school year. The public comment period has expired. No comments were received. The motion. Joe? Todd? Discussion. Good. All in favor?
Aye.
All good. A motion to approve the Fort Edward building level emergency response plan. Why am I reading the same thing?
One is district.
One is district.
One is district, I'm sorry.
So now you're
Okay.
going to building.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay. For the district. Any motion, Joe?
Second.
Anita? Any discussion?
Just one thing quick for my folks, that is a confidential plan.
Right.
That one does not get shared or posted anywhere. You only have access to you folks are doing.
It has a distinct flavor of Mark Sullivan.
He's actually out. Needham is doing that for us now.
Oh, I just write it as the same one that he worked with us. Just involves, no, I mean, it has a style on it. We just leave it at that.
All in favor? Motion to enter into cooperative bidding for electric and gas supply service through the OEM BOCES per the resolution included in the November board packets. Joe? Hello? Any discussion? All in favor? Good. Yeah. I need a motion for item H.
I can read that, Tom.
Motion to rescind the following resolution.
No, just kidding.
In the task box. At your request.
Just kidding, I'll make a motion.
Motion for H. Okay. Christina, James, and Christina. Any discussion? Thanks, I really need help with the paperwork. All in favor? Aye. Let's see. Can I get a motion for item I, please?
Motion.
Anita and Chris. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye, everyone's good. Can I get a motion for item J, please? Can I get a motion? Christina and Joe? Any discussion? All in favor?
I missed who made the motions.
Christina and Joe.
I'm sorry, Christina and Joe, right?
Okay, thank you.
I'll speak back.
Reject.
I'll speak back. I need a motion for item
We
K.
gotta vote on that also.
Yes,
Oh, I'm
we did.
sorry, all, I think
We did.
Do we have, 800?
Yes.
Thank you.
I need a motion for item K, please.
Motion.
Nita and Chris. All in favor, any discussion?
No, it's a good move. No, I'm familiar with that one.
Thank you, Charlene.
Yes. Oh, that was, yeah, thank you for that call, thank you.
That's good.
Cool. All in favor?
Aye.
Awesome, okay. What to do? Okay, we're going down to personnel. Need a motion to appoint the following individual as the Assistant Central Treasurer for the extra classroom accounts, Don Milano and Daniel Ward.
So let's take, if you don't mind, we'll take personnel A through I as one item. Because they're updates to annual appointments that you made back in
Oh, I
July.
understand, okay, so please, yeah.
Unless you have concern about what we can separate it out, but if
No,
not.
that's good, okay, yeah. So I need a motion, thank you, Dan. I need a motion for A, personnel A through I.
Motion.
Christina? Joe? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to appoint Catherine Elms as substitute cleaner effective October 5th, 2020, salary of $13.56 per hour, lower compensation and benefits pending the completion of all necessary requirements. Need a motion?
Motion.
Ida and Joe. Any discussion?
These are all on as-needed basis.
Correct, correct. And we, when we started the school year, we were keeping 2 full-time people, 4 hours apiece, because we were short staffed.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Motion to appoint Mary Jo Mosher as a substitute cleaner effective October 2020.
I think you
We can finish that one though. If you're halfway reading, we'll go back.
Yeah, let's finish that one. Motion to appoint Mary Jo Mosher as a substitute cleaner effective 2020, the salary of $13.56 per hour, no other compensation. And I lost my screen.
No other compensation benefits pending the completion of all necessary requirements.
Thank you very much. Need a motion. Christina and Joe, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're all good.
We're going back to.
Neil, right?
Yeah.
Motion to appoint Neil Lampier as a substitute cleaner effective October 12th, 2020, with a salary of $13.56 per hour, no other compensation or benefits pending the completion of all necessary requirements. Need a motion?
Motion.
Nita and Ella, any discussion? All in favor? Very good. Motion to appoint Angelique Hicks as a substitute cleaner, bus aide, and cafeteria worker effective November 9th, 2020, with salary per job title as posted in the FESS contract, no other compensation or benefits pending the completion of all necessary requirements. Any motion? Joe and Chris? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All good. Motion to appoint Kelly Riccadelli as a 1.0 FTE teaching assistant effective November 2nd, 2020. Salary benefits for the FESS contract pending completion of all necessary requirements. Mr. Riccadelli is appointed as a callback from the current FESS preferred eligibility list. Need a motion?
Motion.
Christina, second. Todd? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Are we doing?
No, so O will have to, there's no action to be had there. I kept it on because we did an interview even over the weekend. Mr. Galarno set up a Saturday interview. Thanks for one of the most beautiful Saturdays. We interviewed our candidates, so I'm still in contact with candidates. I will have somebody for folks as soon as I can. Most likely, we will have to have a special meeting, but all I need is a quorum to do so. It would only be to appoint that individual. As you heard me say earlier tonight, Mrs. Rivers is done in a few days. So we will figure it out. We are on it.
We can do it by Google Meet too.
We could, we absolutely can. Yeah, the governor did extend that for us. So,
Yeah.
so stay tuned. I'll get in touch with you folks. We have some candidates.
Great. And I'm also skipping.
Yep.
Right?
Correct. P, I haven't had a response on the Keep Plug. I left it on there just in case.
Okay. Q, I need a motion to appoint Lorinda Huntington as outing club advisor for the 2020-2021 school year at a rate of pay per contractual rate using available donations. Need a motion. James, Christina. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. We're good.
I don't know if we're, so you're gonna
Toby, any public comment?
Chris.
No, I have none.
Hold on, there's something in
Chris has some.
I just wanted to clarify with the consent agenda, changing the address to the special meeting. That was for the September 30th meeting, not the October 22nd special meeting. I just had to look at my calendar.
Tom, we do have someone that wants to speak.
Okay.
September 30th, Chris?
Yeah.
We start. You have the floor.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'll keep it short and sweet. I just wanted to comment real quick about the full merger study meeting from the other night, which as you all know, I'm part of. And I just wanted to follow up just to clarify, Dan was talking about the notes that are prepared that are sent out after the meeting. I just wanted to clarify, those are not minutes. They are, it's a big semantics thing. They're notes. Minutes would be if they were actually documenting all of the questions that were asked and the responses and the discussions. What the notes are truly is their PowerPoint presentation with some more detail added into it. And I can tell you with pretty good certainty, they were already generated prior to, you know, even having the meeting. They probably went through and they did add in one comment at the very end. But I just wanted folks aware that it's not minutes. I did take my own notes. I have a lot of questions that I will be following up with the two folks about. Part of that is a concern that community members can't hear well, and I have a couple of suggestions that I'll share with the people. But just wanted to put those couple of pieces out so that you folks are aware, you know, semantics wise.
Thanks, Amanda. That's what I was looking for. I didn't want just their version. I wanted to know what actual discussion took place, what the give and take was. So what you're talking about is what I was looking for, which I hope we can present to all the taxpayers at these meetings. So thank you.
I think that's going to be really tough, James. I'm going to be quite honest. Because people can't hear well, they don't have somebody there that's taking minutes. You know, I'm more than happy. I was writing notes like as quickly as I could, and I'm doing my own summaries and my own things. And then I also just, you know, I went and I looked at he referenced the Worcester and Chenevis full merge study that they are just kind of wrapping up or toward the end of at this point. And so I went and looked that up. And it's so cookie cutter. That's the thing. And I knew it was going to be cookie cutter going into it, but to actually look at that and see how identical it was, with the exception of numbers, my goal in this, just so that you guys know, on this committee is I don't want us to be cookie cutter. And I'm going to try very hard to make these people know who we are as Fort Edward, who South Glens Falls is, and do our best to not make it cookie cutter, not make it scripted, and make it what it is, which is an individualized process as much as possible.
That's what I want, Amanda. I've done these meetings before where they hand out a template and they just follow along, just from another school or whatever else. I don't want that. I want to know what discussion's going on and what's being done. I think the taxpayers need that too. So if you could bring that up to them as a suggestion, we need that. Stay away from the set program that they have, and let's get into the distinctions of Fort Edward and South Glens Falls. We need that.
Yeah, I think my suggestion is that they're going to have to stick to their set program. You know, it's what they know, it's what they do. Once I organize all my thoughts and things, I am going to put it in email so that it's there in writing. And with my concerns, anything that I do have a suggestion for, I am going to put a suggestion in there, you know, all I can do is try. You know, that's all. It's going to be cookie cutter. That's the bottom line. He made some comment that, you know, we have a lot of say on the committee in this study. And I had to kind of chuckle at that. I'm like, no, we really don't. But, you know, it's fine. I will be a voice. I will be, like I said, my goal is to make it as individualized as possible when it's not truly an individualized thing.
It needs to,
I would just caution you on prejudging the system, that it's one meeting. So I would just caution you on prejudging what's gonna happen in the future, being part of the process and taking notes and being aware and certainly representing us is fantastic, but, you know, it's a little early in the game right now, so let's see what happens.
It is, but we get, the presentation is gonna be, it's something that they use on a regular basis, so that they're familiar with it, follow state guidelines, they know what they need to find out. We need to know what's idiosyncratic, what makes us different than everybody else. So anything you can get out of them from that, I'd appreciate it.
I think we could fix the audio thing too. I mean, just a matter of microphone.
Yeah, I think if they had been willing to use the microphone, that would have helped tremendously, because Miss Orr from South Glens Falls and then Dan, they both used the microphone right in the beginning, but then the other two said, no, we're not going to use the microphone, so.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with even a note taker in both groups. I mean,
I think that's
Amanda's done.
I think they should have a note taker.
Notes already, have one in each group. But
It's not for there.
I think.
I don't think we get a say in that.
So I'm gonna jump in real quick.
It's good.
We do not get a say, but the committee members do. So, and I think Amanda said it, so I know when those notes came out, I think part of that email said if there's anything that, I forget the exact wording, Amanda, you can correct me.
Yep.
Please let me know if there's something I should add. It's basically.
Correct.
There. So I would say for the board that we don't get a choice. Committee members can absolutely ask, bring their concerns forward to the committee, to the consultants. And I think that's exactly what Amanda's going to do. And maybe, I hope that they are responsive to those concerns. Let me say it that way.
I understand it. That's why I'm trying to use Amanda as a conduit to get there. No, I'm not trying to use you, Amanda. I'm just trying to take advantage of you being there.
Correct. No, I get it. Yep, I get it. But I do feel like both districts are paying plenty of money. They should have a systematic way of taking minutes, but it's okay.
We do appreciate the effort that you're putting into it, though. Like, that's pretty awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for selecting me to be on the committee. I do appreciate that.
Great questions, Henry, as well.
Right.
Anybody else?
Anybody else on the chat or anything going once?
Toby, anybody else? You're going to speak?
No, I don't have anyone else up there.
Thanks.
It's only one member of the public. On there.
That's it.
Do not have any requests for any agenda for execs. So at this time, I'd like to need a motion to adjourn. Wow, James.
You jumped that. Man, what is happening?
You're salivating.
So it's, the time is 7:28 in the room. Who was the motion?
Me.
Joe, Joe. Thank you, Joe.
James with the motion.
Any discussion?
Joe.
Let's have an hour-long discussion.
You know, I really think that, I think we're good. I think we're good.
Meeting adjourned.
Thanks.
Very nice.
Have a great night.
Chris, I got a question.
If you didn't do the health screening on the way in, there's a Chromebook right in there on the table. You can do it before you go out.
Thanks for joining us, folks.
Thanks, everybody. I'm going to stop the recording.